Welcome everybody to the Book of X. I'm Chris, and today we're going to start a new video series where I'll be exploring some games that are in Game Pass that I simply feel that have not had as much sort of love as some of the more major tentpoles. So each episode is going to be exploring 3 or 4 titles that I personally think that you should check out, particularly if you are fans of the genre. So let's get right into it. So the first game up we have is Trials of Mana. So Trials of Mana is a 2020 video game that is a remake of the 1995 Super Famicom title. It is the third game in the Mana game series, and what it allows you to do is it allows you to follow the journey of 6 possible characters. So you select 3 characters to take forward on these missions, and each character then has its own respective storyline. So there's a lot of opportunity for replay value in this game, because if you run a second playthrough with 3 different sets of characters, you will follow 3 different storylines, but each playthrough leads towards that same central goal of obtaining the Mana Sword and fighting the end world threat. The game as well has been expanded on from the original 1995 version, whereby it's added new gameplay and storyline options, as well as post game gameplay, and you're able to unlock classes in this game, and they've completely overhauled the way that the game looks. So whilst the underlying gameplay remains largely the same, it's been completely redesigned with this beautiful 3D overworld art style that brings you right up to the modern era. And yeah, if you haven't checked out this game but you are a fan of action role-playing games in this JRPG style vision, do check this one out. Next up we have Jusant, which is a 2023 puzzle platforming game developed by Don't Nod, the creators behind the highly underrated Remember Me and the Life is Stranger game series. And what this game tasks you with doing is you essentially take control of an individual who has to ascend a mountain. It's quite literally that. It's an adventure game whereby you climb up a desolate tower, and along the way you essentially explore all the secrets that this mountain has to hold, whilst solving puzzles to get yourself to the next level, up further and further and further. And as you ascend up the tower, this tower is split into sort of different biomes, each giving you sort of unique traversal mechanics and challenges that you'll have to overcome to ascend further and further up the mountain. Very short game. Sort of I managed to get the full 1000 achievement score in around 5 hours on this, but certainly a game that is a fantastic palate cleanser and is a lot more relaxing, especially if you've just come off the back of some sort of intense game, such as like the current Expedition 33 and so on. This helps as a nice sort of, okay, I'm done with that. Let's do a quick sort of calm, relaxing game before moving on to something else. So if you'd like to see that sort of climbing mechanics in play, very good climbing mechanics by the way, then do check this one out. Next up, I'm going to recommend Aliens Dark Descent, which is a real-time tactics video game that relaunched in 2023 but is now part of Game Pass. And what this game does, it tasks you with a kind of mission within the Aliens science fiction horror universe, and you take this real-time tactics approach of controlling a squad of Marines through a series of missions whereby you deploy them to the planet, and your goal is to get them sort of to complete that particular mission before extracting off planet. Now what's smart is you can extract off planet at any point if you feel like you're in a sudden threat, or you've taken injuries or even deaths. Then you can extract off planet to rehabilitate your Marines, or send in some new Marines to finish off the job, so you do not lose that progress. But as the game goes on, you will level up your Marines and specialize your Marines into specific roles, because with specific roles they're able to complete specific tasks that unlock more and more abilities when you're in deployment, more and more weapons when you're in deployment, and perks. So really, it's not a genre that I'm too invested in from a standpoint of I've not played a lot of games in this genre. But given the Alien license, I wanted to give this a try, and I thought it was a fantastic game. I reached a review of this game, so please check out on the channel if you have the opportunity, where I go a lot more in depth on what you're able to do in this game. But if you've got a sort of a spare 20 to 30 hours to sink into this, do check this one out. And then finally, we have Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Now, you're probably thinking, Microsoft Flight Simulator, that's a large title. The original one that was added, sure, but when I've had to look at this sort of the player count on Xbox of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, it's not quite up there with the 2020 build. But it's a game I think you should definitely experience, because the original launch was a bit broken in many aspects, but since then they've really overhauled this game. The store is now live. There's loads of new world updates available, but the real sort of selling point for this game over 2020 is the career mode, and the career mode allows you to sort of progress through the ranks and take on new job capabilities. So starting off by doing things like charter services and first flights and just package deliveries, and then you ascend on to doing firefighting tasks, crop dusting, carrying sort of major military cargo, VIP services. There's so much jobs available and opportunities available to you. You could end up sinking hundreds of hours into just the career mode alone, but then beyond the career mode, you have things such as the challenge mode, which allows you to complete challenges against other people week in, week out. They've added in a photo mode. What the photo mode, not like a standard take a screenshot, but it actually tasks you with going out into the world and finding specific locations, or finding specific at specific times of days or creatures and so on, to take photos of them. Based on that, you were given then a score. So there's a massive breadth of gameplay available in this game, alongside sort of just general free flight and being able to explore your home and that. But if you've not jumped into this one, do jump to it, because it's a lot more accessible than 2020, given the much smaller file size installation, as everything is controlled on the cloud side. So it's worth noting you do need a good internet connection for this one. But if you've not checked out Flight Simulator 2024, be sure to check this out. And with that, everyone, I'll bring to a close the first episode of this Game Pass recommendation series. I do hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button, and if you haven't already, please do subscribe. And I'll check back in with you next time on another episode of this, where I'll be mentioning additional titles that I think you should explore.